Welcome back to my workshop, everyone. Mike McConville here, Stratford, Ontario, Canada for StringTechWorkstations. We have a custom shop ES339 of Connor's that needs a fret dress. We're getting a compensated nut on it, and a couple other things I'm going to bring you into the loop on as we move along. So when I lay that straight edge along the neck, you can see that the bridge pickup is good. It's level with the trajectory of the string path. But the neck pickup, see how that's tilting forward? Well, we're going to pad that cavity. I'm going to pull that off anyway because we're doing a full fret dress. And you'll see how I do this. First thing we're doing is heating up that nut. Well, we're going to strike while the lacquer's hot. And score that before attempting to remove it. You've seen this in a few dozen videos, but I thought I would show it again. Around this side. See if this cooperates or not. Yeah, that came out pretty clean. We'll slip that pick guard off in preparation for this fret dress. Tuck those screws in the cavity here so they don't get lost or misplaced. And we'll also stick our pick guard in there. I'm going to pull off this pickup for a couple of reasons. One, to get it out of the way while we're doing the fret dress. And the second reason is to be able to pad it to level out the top of the pickup with the trajectory of the string path, as I mentioned earlier. So we'll just wrap that in some high density foam. And tuck that into our Ziploc bag and set it aside. So I'm putting the cutout from my fret guard under there so the wire doesn't scratch our beautiful finish. That's what the piece that came out of here. So these are the 7x7 blanks that I send out to all of you guys that ordered your fretting kits. No doubt about it, the fret dress has been and continues to be the biggest moneymaker for all the TechDecks owners, because they are essentially correcting a $130,000 CNC machine with a $795 GPS unit, just as I'm doing right now. The other thing, something that I didn't foresee, was in the initial stages, and even now, but more so in the initial stages because the thing's out there now, but initially, people that bought the TechDeck, their worst nightmare was for someone else to buy one. So they would buy it, hide it in the back room. It was their golden goose. You know, I look back now, it makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's buff this out. So it's not just that we corrected what the CNC machine missed. We got rid of all that fretwear. There is no trace of fretwear. This is like the day it rolled off the line. So you can see we've got our low density foam in there, and that is just enough to level out that pickup perfectly with the trajectory of the strings. Okay, we are just cleaning up the residue of the compound along the binding and in between the frets. Slip that pick guard back into place. Well, the elixirs are Connor's string of choice, 1046. I don't want to put these on until the whole job is done. This after the final tweak is done, because I'll go through a set of strings just tightening, loosening, doing all the calibration. That first set of strings is going to be toast. So we'll save those until right at the very end. Well, Connor, I feel for you, pal. I started into the compensated nut on this one and went, what? Anyway, fretted the 12th fret fretted note, played the open string. This open string note is 12 cents sharp. So this is going to be the weirdest looking compensated nut I've ever done, but it will be perfectly in tune, rest assured, when I'm done. The A string was 7 cents sharp, so I fretted the 12th fret note, played the open string, 7 cents sharp. Out of the 6 strings, 5 of them will have negative values. And I already went through the first compensated nut blank and thought, wait a minute, something's going on here. So I don't know if the custom shop, if they nip off the end of the fingerboard to try and imitate the PRS thing. I have no idea what happened here. But rest assured, when we're done, I'll bring you back for the final tuning test, and you will see all of these strings, all of the frets, all of the chords. They'll all be in tune. So the D string is the only string that needs to come forward, and it's not very much. It's like 2 cents flat. So once again, fret the 12th fret note and tune the guitar to that fretted note, play the open string, and this open string is 2 cents flat. So that needs to come forward just a minuscule amount. All of the rest of them are big time negative values. This is a great lesson for the Patreon guys. When it's all done, I'll come back and you'll see, but more importantly, you'll hear for yourself just how accurate this guitar can be. Well, this PRS is making a very quick cameo appearance. The customer had brought it back for Darcy to put the gold PRS script on. It already has a compensated nut. This is the one that had the puncture hole from the foot pedal when he dropped the guitar on the underside of that horn. Of course, you'd never know now. Okay. Back to the 339. Okay, this is specifically for all you Patreon guys that are making your compensated nuts. That was my first attempt at this one, and that was not enough. So I'm using this nut to adjust this second attempt, and I'm going to start by cutting these first before I finish slotting and checking the string spacing. I'm going to bring those values way back. See how I've left it square? I want the maximum thickness of the blank to be able to play with to line this thing up. Anyone who's been following my channel, there's plenty of examples of ES339s that I've put compensated nuts on. This one has got to be the most radical yet, but it is the finished product that counts. Wait till you hear it. So this one calls for a little bit different approach. I've got those 2 outside strings holding the nut blank down while I cut the values for the middle 4. We're going to do that first. have to admit, I've never quite done it like this before. Different circumstances call for a different approach. I'm not worried about the string spacing right now. We've got plenty of height in that blank to center those strings after the fact. Okay, let's get those two outside strings. So the last two things I did was to cut these new values, and you can see why I left that square on top, because we're coming pretty close to the back edge here, and that's why I didn't cant that back edge like I normally would. We've got the string spacing nice and even, and I've moved those values back considerably from our first attempt to line this thing up. Now it's time to sort of tune it up and check it. Well, I had to capture this on video. No one would believe me otherwise. So here's our proverbial tuning test. A string. D string. Third string. Second string. First string. Before we clean this up and make it look pretty, I'll do those final values like open string and first fret once I've cleaned it up. Look at how far back that low E is. I mean, they're all way into the body of the nut. Well, like I said, tuner doesn't lie. Okay, let's go clean this up.